Hi and welcome everyone to Season 4 of the Ruin Hammer live show where we talk all things One New Zealand Warriors. Thank you all for joining us again tonight. Tonight we're at this special earlier time because we've got the Matildas playing a little bit later on, and obviously everyone's on the Matildas bandwagon. I think there's more people on the Matildas bandwagon than the Warriors bandwagon. Tonight we're going to be reviewing the Warriors' win over the Tigers in the prestigious Mike Dorreen Cup. And we're going to preview this week's game against the Sea Eagles at the newly named Daniel Anderson Stadium. Obviously, Go Media Stadium, Mount Smart Stadium, whatever you want to call it, on Friday night. Joining me tonight, as usual, is my good mate and co-host, Warrior Roo. Rob, how are you tonight, mate? How's your week been so far?
Doing really good, thanks, mate. Always great to have a little bit of silverware in the cupboard. For the fourth year in a row, we hold the Mike Dorreen Cup. How good is it, honestly? Beating a team that's probably the biggest basket case of the NRL at the moment. But there it is in all its glory, the Mike Dorreen Cup, named after, as you guys all well know, the great man who played, the first man to play for the Warriors and the Tigers. There we go. If you want to rep him, you can get the Mike Dorreen Forever and Always Warrior 25, the MD25.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I'm doing really well, thanks, mate. Had a really good week. We had a couple of holidays up here in southeast Queensland because the Ecker's on the exhibition, the sort of the agricultural show that they do up here. So today was a public holiday and it's good. I got to go to the daughter's school and watch her in her athletics carnival, and she did really well.
I did see the video that Cleo shared on Facebook, mate. I did watch that,
she made it through the heats. She got into the semi-finals. We were so proud of her, but she was distraught that she didn't get a ribbon. But no, we were still super proud of her because, mate, she didn't get that athletic ability from me. That's for sure. Because I was on that same running track about 25 years ago, and I came nowhere near making it out of the heat. So, yeah, but that's good. It's awesome. It's awesome. Hopefully, she's picked up some athletic ability there, which will be great.
Yeah.
I'm myself though. I'm on day 31 of 75 hard, so getting towards halfway, and it's been good. Yeah, lost a little bit of weight, so I'm able to fit into this jersey because, as everyone knows, just in time for Friday, because everyone knows these Puma jerseys are dead set skin tight.
Yeah.
So it's been great to fit back into that after shedding a few kgs, getting out and about for my walks in the morning and everything, getting amongst nature. So it's been great. But what about yourself? How have you been?
Been good, mate. I took Mum to massive shout out to Richie Morgan of Warrior Nation. He organised a bit of a get together for the Warriors fans here in Sydney at the Hudson Hotel at Seven Hills. Had a fantastic turnout. I don't know if anyone saw the photos that we posted on Saturday night after the event. There was a huge crowd there. I took Mum along to the event. She had a great time. It's always good to watch a Warriors win with like-minded Warriors fans as well. So, that was good. Aside from that, mate, just work as usual this week. I do want to ask you, because on your 75 hard, you've got to read a book. You've got to read 10 pages of a book every day. So, what book are you reading, mate?
So, I've already gotten through Atomic Habits, which has been a fantastic book, all about like making tiny little steps, tiny little increments to build build good habits, and also the inverse of it is getting rid of your bad habits. So that's been a fantastic book. I recommend that to everyone. It's pretty well known book by James Clear. At the moment, I'm reading The Barefoot Investor.
Oh, nice! I think everyone's read that. Everyone's read that. Yeah.
So I'm getting my buckets set up if everyone knows what that means, and just trying to get all the affairs in order. So it's been a great read. Very interesting.
And what are you going to move on to when you finish that? Is it going to be the PowerPoint for Dummies by Matt Elliott?
Yes. Funny you should mention that, and a nice little segue. Speaking of Matt Elliott's reign at the club coincides with the reign of another former legend of the Warriors, Nathan Friend.
Yep.
Who will be joining us next week on our live show on Wednesday. So we'll be asking him all about Matt Elliott and his PowerPoint presentations.
Yeah.
So don't miss that one. Yeah.
When we were doing our research on him, he spent 4 years at the club. I think he played under 4 coaches. So it's just that checkered history of our club, isn't it? Gone through so many coaches since Cleary left at the end of 2011. We've had a checkered past of coaches, but it looks like now we've got one that's there for the long haul, I think.
Absolutely. He's like a 10-year coach. He's looking like it at the moment. So lock him in. Lock Webby in.
Lock him in, mate. Well, let's get into tonight's discussion. Before we do, I invite anyone, if you haven't already done so, to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to show your support of the streaming content we create. And I'd also like to acknowledge and thank our wonderful supporters and subscribers, particularly our awesome Patreon subscribers whose donations and support enables us to upgrade our visual presentation via StreamYard and bring you the content and the guests you enjoy all so much.
Yeah, absolutely. A very special shout out to our gold tier Patreons. That's Alf Tuolave, Malcolm Earnshaw, Chris Wellington, Ken Wills, Nigel Phillips, Ina Mete, and Lisa Bateman. We thank you so much for your continued support and for upgrading your Patreon from the bronze all the way up to the gold. We thank you and appreciate your ongoing support.
Absolutely, we do, and we hope you love rocking your Ruin Hammer merch too. Just a reminder to everyone that has tuned in tonight, the reason we do the show live is to get your involvement. So please, as we move through our discussion points tonight, join the conversation, leave your comments. We'll try and read out as many as we possibly can. Please be aware that we do have current and ex-players and their families that watch this webcast, so keep your comments respectful and refrain from making them personal. Let's get into the discussion, mate. The Warriors, we faced off against the Tigers in the only leg of the Mike Dorreen Cup for 2023. The Tigers, the only team taking a home game to New Zealand in appreciation of the Warriors' sacrifices during COVID, a gesture that has been thoroughly appreciated by all Warriors fans on both sides of the Tasman. And I did hear Brad Inger and Richie Sterling talk about it on their show tonight. They said that there was a great cheer for the Tigers when they ran out. No booing, which was good. The game was played at FMG Stadium in Waikato, and the Warriors went into the game with an unchanged 17 that was named on the Tuesday. For the Tigers, many of their New Zealand-born players returned home to their country of birth to play in front of family and friends, some for the first time. Jareem Buller, Stafford Toa, Whanoa Pole, and former Warrior Isaiah Papali'i amongst them. But it was a very scrappy contest, mate. The Warriors got the result 30-22. The Warriors 30 came from tries to Metcalf, Pompey, Wateni, Zalesniak, Harris on a bit of a try-scoring binge now, isn't he? 2 from 2 weeks in a row.
Always happens. Happened with Paddy Carrigan. Breaks his duck and then the tries flowing.
Whanua Blake try. Johnson 2 from 2 goals. Pompey 3 from 4 goals. For the Tigers, 22. Toa got a double. Brooks, Dane Laurie a try, and Coruscant 3 from 4 goals. Mate, take us through all those key points of the contest. Let's have a chat.
Yeah, well, let's get into it. So after racing out to an early 12-0 lead, the Warriors' defence wilted on several occasions throughout the 80 minutes, including giving up 12 points in 2 minutes at one stage there to leave poor old Webby with plenty to ponder ahead of the Sea Eagles in round 25. And if it sounds like we're kind of talking like it was a loss, it kind of felt like that. And I think you and I kind of spoke after the game and were saying that one just felt like a loss. But we didn't lose, we won. But obviously, as I said, a lot for Webby to look at ahead of the Sea Eagles game. Adding to the Warriors' woes, the loss of Wade Egan in the 23rd minute. The hooker was sent to hospital after being hit with the elbow of Stefano. He was placed on report for the incident while attempting to make the tackle. And the Warriors had made a positive start after Dallin. He was denied a last-ditch effort in the opening minutes. Then it was Mitch Barnett. He broke through the line and found Luke Metcalf in support, and he showed a clean pair of heels to score the opener. And then Johnson then sent Adam Pompey over 7 minutes later to double the lead. But then a second drop ball, the set after points from Mitch Barnett, absolutely completely nullified all momentum the Warriors built, and it absolutely changed this whole contest. Because pretty much from that moment on, the Tigers were the better side, I feel, in this whole game. And they dominated. They looked more likely. So it all changed from that second drop, which is just so costly and something we just had in our game last year that we thought we'd sort of gotten rid of. But yeah, unfortunately, it reared its ugly head again. Dane Laurie, what a game he had. He dragged his side back into the encounter with 2 pieces of individual brilliance. After laying on the final pass for Stafford Toa to cross, Laurie sold the Warriors with a huge dummy on the next set, broke the line and found Luke Brooks. Both tries converted, and we were back to 12 all in literally the blink of an eye. Dallin, he got over for his 18th 4-pointer of the year, 8 minutes before the break, to give the Warriors a 16-12 halftime lead. Then Tohu Harris extended the advantage in the second half after like a mountain of possession, like we were literally camped on their line. But then Laurie again, he darted 40 metres following a Jareem Buller break to reduce the gap. And then a possible equaliser was ruled out a short time later when the bunker found a knock-on. And once down the other end, the Warriors kicked a penalty goal to establish a 6-point margin to make it 24-18. And then it was a try under the posts from prop Adam Fanua-Blake with 3 minutes to play that looked to have put the result beyond doubt. But the West Tigers had one more in them. They looked like they had more than one more in them, to be honest. And they got the short restart back. And they spread wide and found Stafford Toa in for his second. Comeback wasn't to be, though. As we said before, the Warriors did hold on for the victory. Wade Egan sent to hospital after suffering a suspected throat injury in the 23rd minute. So Stefano, he was put on report for making contact with his elbow in the hit-up. Dallin as well went on report for a similar incident in the second half. Sort of a lot to unpack in that 80 minutes of footy. What were your thoughts about those incidents, though, mate?
Particularly on those incidents, Stefano, no penalty in the game, and then he was. Oh, sorry, there was a penalty in the game. I thought it should have been sin binnable. If it had been sin bin, we would have been able to activate our 18th man, which we weren't able to do, which was Freddie Lussick, who is a specialist hooker. But then when sent to the match review committee, nothing, no penalty, no nothing for Stefano. Yet Dallin cops a fine for his one. I don't know. But like you said, mate, it did feel like a loss. It was an ugly win, no doubt. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. That's the sign of a genuine top 4 side who can find a way to win at any cost, even when you're not playing good footy. Not a pretty win, but the 2 points are what's important. Webby spoke after the game saying it's more just a mental mindset that they have to adjust. He said he's not real concerned. Just losing concentration at stages that the opposition capitalised on. And as I said, he said he wasn't too worried and he knows the boys will work on that this week at training. And personally, mate, I have nothing but faith in Webby. If he's not too worried, then neither am I. I did say to you, I did say to you after the game, though, I'd rather be having these small hiccups now in these games rather than a few weeks in the final series. We have time to work on these things and over these final 3 weeks of the competition.
Iron out the creases, right before finals.
Absolutely. Dane Laurie, you said, amazing game for him from the Tigers. Do you think the Tigers will be ruining the fact that they actually let him go and he's signed on for a season at the Panthers? He's going home to the Panthers.
It seems like a crazy one because you would imagine he's going back to the Panthers to just be a fill-in or backup player. I don't see how he fits into the game day 17 there.
No,
and on a one-year deal as well.
Here's the thing: they've lost Stephen Crichton. Crichton's going to the Bulldogs, so there is an opportunity in the centres, and the weak-gutted dog has also signed to go to the Bulldogs as well. So there's that spot on the bench that he plays that 14 role. So who knows? Dane Laurie could be in that system. He might get as much game time as what Tyrone Peachy's had this year. Who was a fill-in
Origin
back to
as well.
Yeah,
the Origin period.
Yeah, but they do have Taylor May coming back from injury as well. So whether he goes into the centres and they keep Taruva on the wing, or Taruva moves into the centres, or whether Taruva's just an out-and-out winger, I don't really know. And
Taylor May, he's some player because they were about to, stop the competition for him, weren't they?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Mate, let's not lose sight of the fact that was our 5th win in a row. And although it doesn't sound like a massive feat, let's just have a little look back. Last time we won 5 in a row was the opening 5 games in the 2018 season, which was the last time we made the semis. Prior to that, it was rounds 11 to 15 in 2013. And prior to that, it was rounds 14 to 19 in 2010. And prior to that was round 24 to our semi-final in 2003 and rounds 2 to 6 in 2003. So it's an achievement that we've only accomplished on 5 other occasions in our 28-year club history.
Needs to be celebrated.
It does. The only time we've won more than 5 games in a row is in 2002. We won 8 in a row from round 7 to 14, and we all know we finished minor premiers that year. And in 1995, we had a run of 6 wins in a row from rounds 13 to 18. And everyone knows that we would have finished 8th that season had it not been for the 2 points we were docked for the 5th interchange a la Joe Vunganar.
We love you, Big Joe. We forgive you.
So as a club, we are in unfamiliar territory. This game this weekend
really
against Manly is will be 6th in a row. Another little stat that a lot of people might have missed over the weekend was it was the Warriors' 700th game since entering the competition in 1995.
We've watched 700 of these.
Nothing. Yes, actually, 700 of games exactly like that, nearly.
No. Come on. Only about 680 of them were like that.
Yeah, good point, mate. We'll just have a quick look at the stats of this game. We had a 56% possession, 76% completions. We won all the important stats, and really should have had more points on the board against the Tigers. We had like 500 more run meters than Tigers. We had 6 line breaks to their 5. We had 39 tackle breaks to their 33. 274 tackles we made. 362 tackles the Tigers had to make, which is nearly 100 tackles more than us. We had 33 missed tackles to their 39, so they obviously had a better tackle efficiency in this game. It was the errors and the penalties that probably cruelled the Tigers. We had 10 errors to their 15, and we conceded 5 penalties to their 11.
They just kept letting us off the hook, didn't they, in that second half?
Yep.
And you and I had the chat that probably if we're playing anyone other than the Tigers that don't make those kind of basic mistakes, then we would have been in big trouble.
Absolutely. Let's look at a couple of key performers. Adam Fanua-Blake, 71 minutes in the middle, 270 run meters, 80 post-contact meters, 6 tackle breaks, a line break, an offload, 27 tackles and a try. If he's not the form prop in the comp, and he's not the best prop in the comp, and he's not the Dally M prop, then I'm not here. Because people rave about Payne Haas and people rave about James Fisher-Harris. But what Adam Fanua-Blake does for the Warriors is more important for the Warriors than what those guys are doing for their clubs. For me, he's the form front row in the comp.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't swap him for anyone.
I wouldn't.
In unreal form. He's even scoring tries.
Yeah,
we had to rely on him to get us over the line with that try at the end there.
Yeah, absolutely we did. Mitch Barnett had a bit of a mixed bag. He had only played 41 minutes. He had 155 run meters, 30 post-contact meters, a tackle break, a line break, an offload, 27 tackles, a try assist, but two crucial handling errors that turned the ball over at a stage in the game where we were up 12-0, and that kind of got the Tigers back 12-all.
Costly, so costly, those mistakes,
Yep. Very costly. Jackson Ford continues to be the out-and-out improver of the season. Another 80-minute performance, 147 run meters, 56 post-contact, 3 tackle breaks, a line break, and 33 tackles on that edge. And Murata Niokore, 52 minutes for 130 meters, 36 post-contact meters, 4 tackle breaks, 18 tackles. I actually thought Niokore had quite a good impact in this game. Really punched some holes into the defence. He asked a lot of questions of the edge defence of the Tigers. Tohu Harris in the middle, the captain, outstanding, 177 run meters, 36 post-contact, a tackle break, a line break assist, and 33 tackles. But a guy that I was really impressed with was Bailey Sirinen. Made to play 60 minutes, which he normally only plays a 20-minute stint for the Warriors. Played 60 minutes once Wade Egan went off. He had the 4 dummy half runs for 28 metres and 28 tackles and a try assist. And I actually thought Bailey had quite a solid game for someone that's not used to playing 60 minutes of football.
And not a usual hooker either. Like he's a back rower playing hooker. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly right. Filling in there. And then a couple of other guys. Tane Tuapiki has been outstanding filling in for Chance Nickel-Kluxter. He is definitely not CNK. And we're not saying that by any stretch of the imagination, but he did an admirable job filling in, did his job, 148 run meters, 35 post contact meters, 3 tackle breaks, a line break, a try assist, and a couple of times he looked like he was going to break out into the backfield. He just got pulled down by his jersey or tripped up by a leg. And he's a guy I really would love to see him in open field, because we all saw his highlight reel package from the Queensland Cup last
Burley
year.
Bears.
And, this guy's an out-and-out speed machine. And, can't wait to see him in with a little bit of open field in front of him to see what he can do. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, 151 run meters, 40 post contact, 3 tackle breaks, a line break, and another try to add to his ever-growing line try tally. And Sean Johnson in this game, a little bit quiet, 59 run meters, 1 tackle break, 3 line break assists, 2 try assists, and 437 kick meters. His kick meters were down on previous weeks. He's normally kicking over 550 kick meters. Gave up the goal kicking duties to Adam Pompey, and then Webby spoke about it. Yeah, had a bit of a quad injury. That's Webby said wasn't enough to hinder his gameplay, but did hurt when he was goal kicking, and you did actually see him wince after he kicked that penalty goal.
That looked painful. Yes,
it did. Yeah, it did. Any other standout performance for you, mate, in that game, or are you quite happy with the ones that were highlighted?
I'm pretty happy with what you've highlighted. It was a game where I would say no one was out and out outstanding. Everyone did their job, but it's just some of those missed tackles was probably the key stat for me, and the way that the Tigers were able to score those tries, long range tries as well. That's the worry. Yeah. But no, absolutely. A lot of good all round performances there. Like guys making a lot of meters, post contact, and a lot of defense. Like guys like Jacko Ford and Tohu Harris continues to do it, on attack and defense as well. So.
My heart goes into my throat every time Marcelo Montoya takes the ball up, because Marcelo, he does have he didn't, not that he did it in this game, but he does have a drop ball in him or a poor play the ball in him. And Jacko Ford's got a little bit of that about him as well. So I get a little bit worried when those boys are trying to get that quick play the ball and come up with a bit of an error.
In the second half, when Jacko Ford, so many times he almost scored, he almost broke through on that edge there. And I was thinking, don't get too excited and don't get up and play the ball quickly, or don't do anything silly or try and pop a pass, because I think there was a bit of rain. I think Brad, a good mate, Brad Inger, was there, and he said there was a bit of rain before kickoff, and it did look quite slippery underfoot.
Yeah.
It's not really a night where you should be doing anything too crazy, like trying to get quick play the balls, one-handed offloads and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, we fall into the trap the previous games in the wet where we didn't adjust to the wet weather footy. I think this time we did. The thing that let us down, as Webby said, was a little bit of a lack of concentration, maybe a little bit of complacency, and just a high missed tackle rate.
Missed tackles.
Which I'm sure they'll work on over training this week. Mate, your Dean Bell medal points for this round.
So my 3 points went to AFB, mate. He just put the team on his shoulders again. He just carries us exactly when we need. He comes up with a run, comes up with some good defense, and he comes up with a try exactly when we need it as well. He got my 3 points. 2 points went to Tohu Harris, the captain, as I mentioned before. He just gets through a mountain of work, heaps of run meters, 33 tackles, and again a try. So he got my 2.
Yep.
And I gave 1 point to Tane. I thought he had a very good game. You mentioned how dangerous he looked. He's very safe at the back. While he may not be CNK and he's not the same body size, body shape, or even the height, he just got the job done, cleaned up when he had to, and looked really dangerous in attack. And I'm hoping that we can hang on to him for next year. We exercise the club option to keep him, because he's real player of the future. So he got my 1 point.
Yeah, okay. I went same as you, Adam Fanua-Blake, for my 3 points. Absolutely outstanding. As you said, he's putting the team on his shoulders and just carrying them through. 71 minutes in the middle. Absolutely outstanding. Tohu Harris got my 2 points. Another great captain's knock. He's involved in everything. Played 80 minutes, and we all know he's playing under a bit of an injury cloud as well. But he kind of puts that at the back and just powers on. I gave my 1 point to Bailey Sirinen. May not have been one of the better players on the field, but I thought for what he contributed compared to what he's had to contribute in previous games, I thought he did a stand-up job playing for 60 minutes, filling in for the injured Wade Egan, and didn't put a foot wrong. So I gave Bailey my 1 point for the game, which means that our combined totals, we gave 6 points to Fanua Blake, 4 to Harris, and 1 apiece to Tuapiki and Sirinen, which means our running total at the moment sees Adam Fanua Blake back in front on 49 points, 1 ahead of Sean Johnson on 48, Chance Nickel-Kluckster on 35, and Tohu Harris on 34, and then a host of others fair way behind those 4. I think it's a race of 2 for our belt medal.
100%. Yes, it's looking that way. And we should also mention that Adam Fanua Blake quite clearly wins the Dorreen medal, or the Mike Dorreen medal. It gets $100 worth of plastering in any room of his choice. And,
absolutely.
The hard-working Dorreen medal.
Yep. Yeah. He gets $100 worth of plastering products for any room of his house, and can have his moustache shaved into a handlebar moustache any time that he wants. Courtesy of the great man himself, Mike Dorreen, and he also has a voucher for 1 flat top haircut. Which I don't know if he will take on himself,
administer himself.
but he will get to look like the great man himself, Mike Dorreen. Mate. Let's get into a little bit of NRL general discussion stuff before we move on to this week's game. A couple of stalwarts of the game announced their retirement. Wade Graham and Jared Croker announcing their retirements this week. Wade Graham, he's on 293 NRL games. He's played 251 for the Sharks and 42 for the Panthers. 6 Origins, 8 Tests, 40 NRL tries, and 2 field goals. He's been a great player, particularly for the Sharks. Part of that Sharks premiership win back in 2016. Mate, sitting on 293 games, I don't think he's going to reach the 300. The Sharks will, I think, need to make the grand final for him to play 300 games.
He's not going to get it.
No. So he will fall short. But he has been a great servant of the game, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. I remember when he made his debut for the Panthers back in 2008. He was a halfback. He was part of that young, exciting Panthers brigade with guys like Lachlan Coote. And I think all those guys that came through that original 20s, I think that started in 2008 as well, and they sort of all came through into first grade at the same time. And he went over to the Sharks about 2011, and reinvented himself as like a back rower, lock, ball playing. But he sort of maintained those skills that he had as a half. So he was like a real sort of ball playing back rower. He had an all right kicking game as well, which you would imagine being an ex-halfback. But he had a fantastic career. Played plenty of Origins and Tests, and so well done to him. Congratulations on a great career.
Yeah, he was a Blacktown City junior, and I know that because Wade actually played, or my son Daniel, who's the same age, played his junior footy at Blacktown City with Wade before Daniel went across and played at Colleton. But Daniel played a lot of junior footy with Wade Graham, and he was an out-and-out superstar back then as a kid. One of those kids that you kind of earmarked that he'd play great footy. And like I said, he made his Panthers debut. I don't think the Panthers knew what to do with him because he, as you said, he was kind of like the 2008 version of Josh Schuster, where he's got all the skills of a half, but the body of a back rower. And the Panthers weren't sure what to do with him. And he never really was had a regular spot cemented until he went to the Sharkies. But absolutely great player. Great servant of the game. As I said, 6 Origins for New South Wales and 8 Tests for Australia. He's been fantastic. And Jared Croker, 305 NRL games so far. He'll finish the year probably on 308, maybe 9 if they go one game into the semis. He scored 135 tries. He's kicked 909 goals from 1,123 attempts at a percentage of 80.94%. The interesting thing about Jared Croker is he could have made a living scoring tries against the Warriors. Scored 18 tries. 18 of his 135 tries were against the Warriors, including 3 try doubles and 2 hat tricks. And I can remember he scored a hat trick, and it was a genuine hat trick where he scored 3 tries in a row in one game, and they lost. And Sean Johnson scored 3 tries in that game as well.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we beat them by 50, and he still got a hat trick against us.
Yep.
Our old tormentor.
I
it's funny because throughout his career, he just dominated us, and it just used to really annoy me because he's got that sort of frowny face.
Yeah, the upside down smile.
That's there, mate. Yeah, exactly, mate. But he used to terrorize us. He used to really annoy me. So I was kind of glad that we did get the last laugh on him this year. But having said all that, fantastic career, mate. To play 300 and over 300 games for the one NRL club is a fantastic achievement.
Absolutely.
And a really good goal kicker, really clutch goal kicker as well. Although thankfully he wasn't about a month ago when he was lining up that shot against us on the sideline. But he kicked some memorable goals after those famous early misses against the Tigers. I mean, he's a little bit shaky early on in that semi-final.
Yep.
But yeah, very, very dependable player. Probably the only thing that kept him out of Origin, to be fair, was his size and his defence. But other than that, like he wouldn't have been out of place.
Yeah, and the other thing too is it's a New South Welshman, and we don't pick centres to play in the centres. We pick fullbacks.
No, you pick anyone, anyone but a centre. Yeah,
anyone but a centre. So yeah, he wouldn't get a gig. But no, you're right. It's probably the one thing that went against him was he was a little bit suspect in his defence. Not so much now. He's like mature and whatever. But when he was younger, yeah, definitely. Couple of ones that I've thrown in that aren't in your notes, mate, in your agenda, just for a bit of a response from you. Tavita Pangai Jr. Has come out and announced that he's going to walk away from a $750,000 a year contract at the Bulldogs next year to take up boxing. Announced, apparently I was reading the story, and I don't know how much you believe from what Gus Gould says, but he was having his weekly review with Cameron Ciraldo and said that he was really disappointed and he thinks this will be it. Then stood up the next day in front of the team and apologised for his performance and told them that he was only going to be playing 3 more games of footy and then he was retiring. And then he went and spoke to the owner or the CEO of the Bulldogs and told him the same thing. So, it looks like he's going to hang up his boots. He's been a bit of a controversial player in his career, hasn't he?
Weird kind of career that he's had.
Yeah, like I remember at the Broncos, he came out and said that he was, even though he's a New South Welshman, he wanted to play for Queensland, and he got that
haircuts with bikies and that sort of thing during COVID lockdown, and doing all sorts of weird stuff. A bit of a liability on the field as well with his high shots and his over-aggression.
Got himself a premiership at the Panthers in 2021, was it?
He played like 3 or 4 games. He joined in in August. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Bizarre. I wonder if he's got Choc Mundine giving him advice.
Well, it's an interesting one because, as I said on NRL 360, you've got a guy that's going to walk away from $750,000 guaranteed contract next year to probably fight on the no limit boxing card with Big Georgie Rose and make $15,000 a fight. Like, I don't know. I don't know too many people. His boxing career
must
could
be
come
going on there. Yeah,
I reckon his boxing career will come to an early close because I think a guy like Nelson Asafa Solomona might say, "Hey, I'll take you on," and might put him on his ass. And we could see TPJ back in the NRL middle of next year. Wayne Bennett might offer him a lifeline at the Dolphins, or
you can see that happening for sure.
Yeah, yep. The basket case that keeps on giving to the competition, mate, the West Tigers. Tim Sheens has either announced he's going to step down or has been tapped on the shoulder. Benji to take on the full-time role. Sheens is a dinosaur, I'll give you that. But this is going to be a major task for Benji to take a rookie coach with a rookie squad. That coming off 2 consecutive wooden spoons. I guess the upside for Benji is it can't get any worse.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of starting from rock bottom, isn't he? And we've seen it time and time again that it doesn't, being a great player doesn't automatically, and it's, in fact, to be honest, is rarely translated over to being a really good coach. Some of the greatest players in the game have had to go at coaching and, yeah, just couldn't quite cut it. But he is a Tigers man through and through. And I remember when we went through a similar situation and we were trying to think of candidates to coach the Warriors, we were like, we need someone with Warriors DNA. We need someone who loves the club, is passionate about the club. And like Benji's the man for that.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's a Tigers man through and through. But yeah, whether he's got the credentials and whether Sheens is going to stay on and be like a mentor for him, or Sheens has just had enough, or do we know the actual details of that, or is it?
I think Sheens is gone. I think that's
Sheens
it. He's gone.
Had enough. Yeah. Well, he's 70 odd years old now. 70 odd years of age. A little bit of a dinosaur. He's very old school.
And let's be honest, he was out of the NRL for a long, long time.
Yeah, ages. Yeah, I think he left in like 2013 or something, didn't he?
Yeah, and then he's come back like 11 or 10 years later, and the game's changed. The game in Australia has changed. I know he was over in the Super League, but it's a slower game. It's not as defence-oriented, and he's come back to the NRL, and I think he's just a little bit out of touch.
I think Benji will get improvement out of the squad because their squad is not that bad.
No,
like they've got some really good players. They got good players in key positions, and they showed on Saturday night. Like they can trouble teams. Unfortunately, 2 of the guys that troubled us are not going to be at the. Unfortunately for the Tigers, 2 of the guys that gave us trouble on Saturday night are not going to be there, in Laurie and Brooks.
Yep.
But I mean, it's going to be a tough year for him. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they have to stick with him though. They've made this. They've made this commitment. That they're going to throw Benji into the fray. So I hope that he doesn't, like, they don't give him like one season and then he has a bad start to season 2025 and they're like, we got to get rid of this guy. Like they need stability.
Well, mate, they do, and it's the guy at the top that needs to go. All these changes to the Tigers, but the thing that gets me with the Tigers is, as you said, the Brooks and Dane Laurie aren't going to be there next year. Adam Dewey's going to miss most of next season with that injury still. Who's going to be playing in their halves? Who's going to be playing in their spine? They spent a lot of money getting Clemmer, Johnny Bateman, Isaiah Papali'i, and those kind of players are only good if you've got the spine to work behind them, and they just don't have that spine to work behind their forward pack.
We'll see. It could be an interesting off season for the Tigers. I mean, they as bad as they've been, they can still attract decent players to the club
because they're Sydney bound. Because they're based in Sydney.
Yeah.
You know, they want to. If guys don't want to leave Sydney,
don't have to move their house. They can stay there and just commute to wherever they need to play.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of halves available in the open market, so they're probably going to have to get someone to break contract or take a punt on a youngster.
Yep.
Who knows? But poor old Tigers, eh?
Well, they've chased them all, haven't they? They chased Ben Hunt. They chased Mitch Pearce. They chased Sean Johnson. They let go.
Jack Cogger, Malcolm is.
Yeah.
Jack Cogger's going to the. Didn't he sign to go back to the Knights?
Yes,
Jack
he has.
Cogger? Yep.
Yeah, Cogger's gone to the Knights. And the last bit of news that we'll talk about is the NRL has confirmed the Las Vegas opener in season 2024. It's happening on March the 3rd. It'll be played on the Saturday in Vegas, which means it'll be beamed to Australia on the Sunday. The 4 teams going. The Broncos it's a home game for the Broncos against the Roosters and a home game for the Sea Eagles against the Rabbits. Thoughts on this, mate? What do you reckon?
Oh, the funniest bit was watching 360 the other night with good old Buzz Rothfield peering over his glasses. Braith. Now, Braith, I think this is going to be really good for the town. I think it's going to attract a lot of tourism. I think you're going to see a lot of people in the hotels and the restaurants are going to be full. I'm like, mate, it's Las Vegas. It's Vegas, baby. Like, they don't need to worry about tourism.
No.
He just sort of said it like it was some backwater country town. But yeah, classic. I'd love to see a Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas theme where they all come in and like their Cadillacs with the Hawaiian shirts all tripping out.
Mate, Reece Walsh is going over there.
He'll be Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas all the way. He'll be trashing his hotel room.
Mate, I reckon it's going to be The Hangover, Part 4. Yeah.
That's who I thought of immediately when they said that the Broncos were going.
Think about some of the guys that are going there. You got Reece Walsh, you got Brandon Smith, who's going to be going over there. Oh, like there's two names as it is. Josh Schuster's going to love the all-you-can-eat smorgasbords for food. He's going to love that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know why they want to take it to America. It's to, get into another market, and it's more so for the sports gambling than anything else. But it's a long way to go to play a round of footy, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm more than happy to not make the cut for the boys to not make the cut to go over to Las Vegas. So what's the deal? They're going there the week before to do a bit of promo, a bit of sightseeing.
Yeah, they'll go. So it was announced they'll go a week before, so they'll leave the previous weekend, which is fine because, I mean, there's no trials that weekend usually anyway. They'll go over there. They'll do a week over there, promo the game, do their training, all that kind of stuff. And then, play on the Saturday, beamed into Australia on the Sunday, and then fly home. It's going to be I hope we get one of those teams in round 2.
Yes.
Because they'll have very little preparation for round 2. I'll tell you what, though, I'm going to go out on a limb here. And my first prediction for season 2024 is that we don't play the Broncos, Roosters, Seagulls, or Rabbits in round 1.
I'm more than happy to not play any of those teams, to be honest.
Yeah.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby. Yeah. Have you been to Vegas?
I haven't. I've never been to America.
Okay.
Cleo's been, but I haven't been yet. So.
I've been.
You've been there, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, 10 years ago. Actually, it keeps coming out. I was there 10 years ago today, when my boys were competing in the World Hip Hop Dance Championships. I'm part of a dance crew, and they went to the World Championships over there. And yeah, mate, even with kids, I got to see a lot of Vegas, and I can only imagine what it's like without kids because. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's another world.
Yeah, I'll bet it is.
All right, let's get into this week's game, mate. This week, the team returned to Go Media Stadium for the important matchup against the Sea Eagles. Go Media Stadium has been renamed Daniel Anderson Stadium for this week's game, and
shout out to the legend coach.
Yep, shout out to our legend coach, and it's also Old Boys Day. So we know a lot of the boys are heading over there for Old Boys Day, and there's going to be a lot of stuff, fundraising and so forth around Daniel Anderson. In terms of team news, Captain Tohu Harris, he'll play his 99th club game this week, and Sean Johnson plays his milestone 250th NRL game this weekend. So, mate, do you want to run us through the team that has been selected to take on the Sea Eagles?
Yeah, the team that will run onto Daniel Anderson Stadium on Friday night is Chance Nickel-Kluxter returning, Dallin Watene-Zalesniak and Marcelo Montoya on the wings, Rocco Berry and Adam Pompey in the centres. In the halves, Luke Metcalf and Sean Johnson, Adam Fanua-Blake, Wade Egan and Bunty Afoa returning to the front row there. Jackson Ford, Marata Niokore and Tohu Harris in the back row. On the bench, Dylan Walker, Jazz Tuvanga, Bailey Sirinen and Josh Curran. And the extended bench is Tom Ale, Tane Tuapiki, Freddie Lussick, Ed Kossi, and Tonsils Volkman.
Tonsils.
Good old Tonsils, yeah. So a couple of changes there. So Chance, as well, I thought maybe he would get another week off due to the nature of that head knock, but they've brought him back. I thought Tane had played well enough to deputise one more time, but this is probably the biggest of our 3 games coming up. So they probably want to get him back and probably get a bit more cohesion back in the side. Bunty Ofoa back in the front row, Mitch Barnett out with a bit of a niggle. So other than that, like, the side is pretty much as I would have expected. Thoughts?
Yeah, like you, mate, I thought they might have rested Chance for another week because he has had a couple of HIAs this season and missed a couple of games through those 11-day stand-down protocols. I'm happy to see him back. I think maybe if we're playing the Dragons this week and Manly next week, he gets this week off. But Manly, I think, are just such a dangerous side. They do have a lot of dangers in there. Battle of the Halves is going to be a great one. Dowley Cherry Evans up against Sean Johnson. Both of them made their debut in the same year, 2011. Played against each other in that 2011 grand final. So their history against each other goes way back. I think we've got the superior. I think we've got the superior forward pack. I think if you look at our forward pack to their forward pack, I rate our forward pack over their forward pack, and I think we can get the job done there. Their biggest danger in the forwards is someone like Olakau'atu, who's very dangerous on an edge and can take a high ball. He's a lot like Jeremiah Nanai at the Cowboys. It's really a battle of the 2 no-name hookers as well. Lachlan Croker, Wade Egan. When you're talking about, if you asked to name the top 5 or 6 hookers in the comp, those guys' names don't automatically spring to mind. But they're both very similar in their gameplay, very underrated. Really do a job for their team. Do a lot of work in defence in that middle of the field, and they do have a little bit of that a running game where they can surprise the slow markers or a slow defensive line that's retreating and get out and try and find a hole for a runner outside him. And then the other battle is going to be C&K and Garrick. Ruben Garrick, great when he's on a wing, filling in for the injured Tommy Turbo, plays at 100 mile an hour. He's very much like C&K, really does his job well, never lets the team down. Yeah, very good player. I think it's going to be a tough contest, but I think we'll just have enough to get home. I mean, if we clean up the shit that we've had in the last couple of weeks in terms of a little bit of complacency in that,
tighten up the defense in the middle as well.
Yep. If we come out and we play like last week, Manly will get us. If we play like we did, prior to the bye, then I think we win, and I think we win comfortably by 8 to 10 points.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close one. I'm going to go Warriors by 2. Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a look at the other games for round 25, mate. I'm keeping an eye on the TV.
Yes.
The teams are out on the park, I think, at the moment.
We're hoping to be done so you guys can go and watch the Matildas. So we'll try and finish this one up quickly. Yeah.
So round 25, Thursday, Cowboys versus Sharks at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Tough contest. Both teams playing for a place in the 8. Cowboys just out of the 8 at the moment, sitting in 9th spot. What are your thoughts on this one, mate?
Sharks and Golden Point.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think this one will go to Golden Point. Yeah. I just think the Sharks have just turned the corner a little bit. Yeah, I think it'll be close. A really close one. Yep.
I'm going to say the Cowboys because that puts a buffer between us and the Sharks on points on the table. Yeah, so I'm going to say, I'm going to say the Cowboys. Love Toddy, so hopefully the Cowboys can get a win there. Friday, Warriors versus Eagles. We've touched on that. You said 2, I said 8. To the Warriors. Eels versus Roosters at CommBank Stadium.
I think the Roosters.
Yeah, no Mitch Moses. He's gone for the season pretty much. Which
Roosters
is a big
by 10.
I'm going to say
by 10.
I'm going to say Roosters by I'll say 12. Roosters by 12. Saturday, the Tigers versus the Dolphins. A back-to-back game at CommBank Stadium. Used again. Who are you going in this one?
I'm going to pick the Tigers here. I think if they play like they did last week, they'll get the Dolphins. Tigers in a close one.
Yeah, I've got the Tigers as well. I think the Dolphins are done. I think the Tigers have a little bit to show. They want to try and get as close as they can to the Dragons and maybe avoid that wooden spoon.
Exactly.
Titans versus Panthers at Seabus Super Stadium.
Titans have got a lot of guys out that they're putting in for surgery now that their season's done and dusted. I think the Panthers will win this in a canter. Panthers by 26.
Yeah. Incidentally, that what you just said then about the guys having the surgery,
Yeah.
we'll tip that by Michael Witt when we were at the Titans game. He said a lot of these guys won't play the back end of the season.
That's
he
some
was
good
right.
mail.
Great mail from Witty. I'm going to say the Panthers by 30. Dragons versus Storm at Wynn Stadium.
Look, the Storm are going to be way too good. Storm by about 36.
Yeah, Storm by about 30 as well. Sunday, game of the round. Knights versus Rabbits. McDonald Jones Stadium. Knights going for 7 wins in a row. Rabbits looking to try and stay in the top 8.
I can see this being a close, high-scoring encounter. I'm going to go with the Knights. I think they'll be able to get the job done at home. They'll have just enough. The Rabbitohs are not playing great at the moment. Their match they were terrible against the Dragons last week. Just the Dragons were worse. So yeah, I think I'm going to pick the Knights by 4.
I'm on the Knights as well, mate. I think the Knights they're showing something at the moment, aren't they? Caleb Pong's been brilliant.
Yeah.
And the last game, I can't believe this is a game that's going to be on Channel 9 free-to-air TV. Raiders versus Bulldogs at GIO Stadium. Can the Raiders score a point? Can they get a try this week?
Raiders by 10, I think. It'll be something like 14-4. It'll be a really dour kind of game.
Yeah. Raiders by 6. Okay. And of course the Broncos have the bye, so they'll all be out
for them.
They'll all be out looking at their books on Las Vegas, working out where they're going to go to when they get over there. NRLW round 5, I think it is. Is it this week? Round 5.
Yes.
Yep. We've got Cowboys versus Sharks at Queensland Country Bank Stadium.
I'm gonna go Cowboys. I think they can get their first win at home.
I'm gonna go Sharks. I'm gonna pick the Sharks. Tigers versus Dragons at CommBank.
Tigers. Tigers to return back to the winners' circle.
Yep, I'm on the Tigers as well. Titans versus Roosters at Seabus Super Stadium.
I just feel that the Roosters have a lot of points in them, and I think for the Titans to win, they'd need to keep it really tight. I think the Roosters will just have too much for them. I think they'll get away with it.
I agree too. And the Titans had that horror possession stat, completion stat last week, 60%, and that was something that came into their game last year. Georgia Hale, outstanding, getting 54 tackles a game, but it doesn't matter if you got one player making 54 tackles. If the others aren't doing the job, they're not going to get the result. I'm on the Roosters as well. The Roosters are just dangerous all over the park. Knights versus Broncos. This is a cracker of a game.
This is another tough one. I'm gonna go Knights double there at McDonald Jones Stadium. I think the Knights can get an upset win.
Yeah, I'm going to go the Knights as well. Yep, Knights as well for me. And then we got the Raiders, the surprise packet. They've won 3 in a row up against the Eels, who haven't won a game yet at GIO Stadium. Who are you picking in that one?
Yeah, it's got to be the Raiders. I think they'll continue on their merry way. The girls are playing awesome. Raiders.
Yep, I agree. Raiders for me too.
Yeah, well, that is it for the weekend round wrap. But don't forget our weekly live shows every Wednesday night. We'll be returning back to 7:30 p.m. next week, and we will be joined by Warrior 171 Nathan Friend. Who could ever forget Friendy and his pass between the legs? You can hear all about it from the man himself next week. That's going to be a great chat. Really good servant to the club as well as the Storm and the Titans as well. So we'll hear all about his career. A return to another one of our head-to-head series. That's what we love doing. It's our bread and butter. Yep. We're also going to be uploading some pre-recorded content on our regular weekly basis. So always check. Monday night, we'll have our NRL and NRLW round review. That will be on our YouTube channel every Monday evening.
That's right. Before we wrap it up for the night, again, I just want to acknowledge and thank our wonderful supporters, especially our Patreon supporters, for their continued support, and give a special shout out to our gold tier Patreons, Alf Tuolave, Malcolm Earnshaw, Chris Wellington, Ken Wills, Nigel Phillips, Inamete, and Lisa Bateman. If you want to show your appreciation and support, you can head to our Patreon page to subscribe to our bronze tier general support level, or our silver or gold tiers, which also includes some supporter merch and other benefits. Supporter merch like our great Mike Dorreen,
The MD25.
MD25 shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of merch, if you do want to grab some, now is the perfect time to go to our Redbubble store because they have 30% off your entire order. So if you've been eyeing off anything there, maybe a bit of an Up the Waz shirt, that's been a really popular one. Make sure, though, you do go through our store when making any purchases because there are a few other very similar designs floating around. But yeah, so make sure you follow the link to our store. Check out all the T-shirts there. We got past, present, honouring novelty, honouring players in their positions, memorable games. So jump in there, have a look. Everything is 30% off. So go in there and grab yourself a bargain.
Absolutely.
And that is it. That's it for tonight's show. We finished just in time, so you guys can go watch the Matildas, even though I see quite a few of you are back in the back in England, but that's okay. Yeah, go enjoy the game. Go the Matildas. Great to watch this World Cup. And
absolutely,
yeah, thank you to all you guys who have been supporting us at Ruin Hammer. Very much appreciated. Thanks to all you guys in the comments, all watching on Facebook and YouTube. Very much appreciated. Take care and up the Waz at Daniel Anderson Stadium on Friday night.
Up the Waz. Thanks, guys. Everyone be safe and see you next week.
See ya.